Hey everybody, welcome to today's episode of This Fat Girl Life. I know I have been hit or miss with being on with y'all. A lot of you guys know some of the stuff I've been dealing with, and we're kind of going to talk about that a little bit today. But today's main focus is going to be about finding your purpose and doing it unapologetically. So often when we are on this journey of finding ourselves and finding our purpose and finding the true purpose, we are apologizing
Yes.
constantly to ourselves, to our loved ones, to anybody who will listen
Mm-hmm.
because we're taking that time for ourselves. So we're
Yeah.
going to talk today about how to do that without apologizing.
Yeah.
Before we get into that though, you guys, if you want to support what I'm doing, y'all know how much I love coffee. Caffeine is life. Caffeine keeps me out of jail. Caffeine keeps me happy. Caffeine keeps me from unaliving people.
Mm.
So, if you want to support what I'm doing, you want to help keep me caffeinated, go over to buymeacoffee.com/slash this fat girl life. You
Oh,
become a member. It's literally $5 a month, cheaper than Starbucks. You're going to get some freebies just for being a member and supporting me on a regular basis. But even if you just want to do a one time support gift, you can do that there as well. And it definitely helps me out. So again, that is buymeacoffee.com/, this fat girl life.
hmm.
Now, Tanya, I want to welcome you to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm sure we're going to have a great time talking today.
I think so too. But before we get started, why don't you tell everybody just a little bit about yourself?
So, my name is Tanya. I'm talking with Tanya J Miller LLC. I'm an author, speaker, coach, strategist. I help people and organizations to figure out how to fit it all together, how to just fit it all together so the puzzle pieces cope and work, and so that you can do life well. And I do that because I sincerely want and hope for you to be able to do both life and leadership unapologetically on purpose. And so, just as Kimberly said, we're going to be talking about purpose and, being able to do it unapologetically without fear, restraint, worry, doubt, all of that. So I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Me too. And you and I are both kind of on like the separate journey, anyways, because we deal with illness.
Yes.
So, dealing with illness, you're already on this path of finding your journey, finding your purpose. You think you got it nailed, and then you get that illness curveball.
I already knew. Yep.
It's like, how do you readjust
Yeah,
without, again, going back to that vicious cycle? And it is a vicious cycle
it
of
is. It can be.
constantly feeling unworthy and like you have to apologize for every step you take.
Yeah, one thing, you have to buy me a coffee. I have family members that did a GoFundMe because fighting Lyme disease, that's what I have, is a crazy expensive disease. And so sometimes you feel like when you have a setback or you have to go to the hospital, it's like, oh, they want an update, but it's not anything new or it's not good news. So it's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to say because it's not anything good. And so you feel like you're apologizing because you're not getting better. And the reality is, you're fighting horrible illnesses and you're trying to figure out how to do life. And life is not necessarily equal to somebody else or a mirror to it. Our life and how we do it and how we adjust is just that adjusting. It's not that our purpose changes. It's just we just adjust how we go forward in it. And so for me, I used to, like you just did it. You apologized for being MIA. I don't even do that anymore. I don't, like, literally. I used to have like clockwork. Like people would say they are they look to me as an example. Like clockwork, I would have a video 5 days a week, rain, sleet, or snow. I'm sick. I'm in the hospital. Never fail. But when I got, because I already, everybody's like, "What do you mean?" I was already battling a chronic illness before I got hit with this deathly blow. I already had endometriosis and a sickle cell trait, so I already was fighting stuff before this one hit. So it's like, wait, more, and that one, like you said, a major curveball. And so I didn't have the energy. I literally was in bed for 2 months, not able to move. So much so I got bed sores. I'm not even, I don't even look that old, and I'm not. But I, not a senior citizen, got bed sores, and because of the illnesses, it took 6 months to heal. 6 months.
Mhm.
And in that process, I refractured my foot. And I'm like, how did you do that? Because if you'll see how I talk, my left side drags. Well, it's because I have seizures. And so my left side in different areas drags. That includes my foot. And so it's a lot of things that happen. I'm not apologizing anymore. I'm trying to figure out a way to adjust and still do purpose. And so I wanted to get on here and talk to you. I wanted to do a podcast interview with you. You and I both said we were having major pain days. I was screaming earlier when I was in the bed, but
Yeah.
I'm getting on here with Kimberly. I'm gonna put my legs up, so if they see me, it's my blanket because I gotta put my legs up. But I'm gonna do what I need to do because I know there's an assignment that the ladies that are listening need to hear, that it doesn't matter what you have going on in life. You can't compare your life, and you shouldn't, to anybody else's. So don't apologize for it. It's not a mirror. It's your reflection that you need to see. And whatever you need to do because you got a curveball that came your way, you just adjust, you pivot, and figure out how to do life according to your terms and nobody
And
else's.
oh, you totally just nailed it too. Because and I am guilty of this right now because this is just such a new diagnosis. I was just
Yeah.
diagnosed with PH at the end of April. I'm still adjusting. I'm still going through the testing to figure out if it's PAH or IP. Yeah, there's a whole slew of
Mm-hmm.
anagrams for all this.
Yeah.
But I have found, little things like I can't bring in the groceries from the car. Yesterday, my husband and I literally slept in because it was his day off too. Went and got some coffee. Went to the grocery store where I used a mobility aid, and that's one area that it took me a while to not be apologetic about. Now I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like, nope, I need that thing. I can't do it.
Well, I'm in a
So
wheelchair when I
sorry.
leave the house because it's for my safety and anybody else's, because I can't walk far without being in pain or without falling or without having a seizure. And so, and then stress is a trigger for seizures. Pain is a trigger for seizures. Overexertion is a trigger. So it's like, you better
But
sit
don't have
yourself down
that.
in that wheelchair and get on and stop acting cute. Sit yourself down. And so
Yep.
I had to do it.
Yep.
And
And I am the same. Like I will get that little motorized cart at the grocery store now. I got no shame. I sit down in it. I put my oxygen in the cart and I just go to town to handle what I got to handle.
yeah,
But it took me
yeah,
a while to get to that point even. But then, we did the grocery shopping. We came home and I was done. I couldn't handle
yeah.
anymore. And I look at these moments, and this is where I am still struggling. This is still very
Don't let
new
the
to
defeat
me.
get you, but don't let the defeat get you. You're not defeated. You're
But
not.
I know I'm not defeated, but it's that I'm still like trying to wrap my head around the fact of there are limits.
Yeah.
And not only do I have to learn where those limits are, I need to learn to recognize when my body is telling me it's time to take a break.
Mm-hmm.
But also in that, learning to listen to my body and learning to respect what my body needs,
And then communicate it.
not forgetting. Well, it's not in communicating because my husband can see it. He ain't like he will look at me. He's like, "Nope, you're done. You're tapped." But it's that mental aspect of, I didn't do as much as I hoped I would get done today.
Mm-hmm.
But
There's tomorrow.
there's tomorrow. So let's readjust that. I
Mm-hmm.
have had to get very diligent with, um, I've started like a little notebook of these are the things that I want to get done.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it may not happen in the flow that I ideally want to do it or that I could
Mm-hmm.
have done it 6 months ago, but I still have my list. And it's
See
tackling
that sense of
one
and
thing
you
at a
see that
time.
sense of accomplishment. It may not be everything on the list at one time, but when you check one thing, be proud of that. Hey, you did that today. Or
Yeah,
if it's, and be worthy of applause. That's the big thing. Be worthy of applause because you said that you have to learn to figure the limits out and respect them, but then you have to also be the one that's brave enough to set them going forward. You got to be brave to say, hey, this I have I'm in charge of this. It's my responsibility to take care of me, and I have to take care of me, the new me. And so I have to say, hey, I can only go to the store with you today. So, if you want me to still go today, or if you have other errands, maybe, and just share it, because one of the things I realized is how I'm feeling may not be how people see, for me, how they see it. Because for years, people didn't even know I was in pain and I had
mhm,
and so when you're a person that's had chronic pain for basically your entire life, unless they know you or they know the look in your eyes, they can't tell. And
yeah,
so one of the things for me I had to do was to own it and say, hey, I can't today, or I would love to go, I would love to, but I'm not able to, or if we do, can we only do this? Is that okay? Is that something we can compromise on? Because, you know, being sick, it changes not just your relationships with your loved ones, but your friends too. Like I had a friend and my babies, which they're not babies anymore, they came in town, stayed with us, and I had only enough energy like to be up with them for a little bit. And so they were like, well, Aunt Tanya, we still want to be with you. So can we come get in the bed with you? I was like, if that's yes, because I can't stand up anymore. I can't stand
mhm,
anymore. And so compromise, or she wasn't expecting to have to push me in a wheelchair, so she's nervous. Like I don't know. I'm like, as long as you don't drop me, I'm okay. But it's learning, and it's as you said, it's a new experience for everybody. And just being able to breathe in that process and say it's okay. It's okay goes a long way. And if you have to keep telling yourself that over and over again, no matter what you may be going through right now, tell yourself that, guys. Tell yourself it's okay. I can't do everything, or I'm because me and Kimberly have physical things, but you may be dealing with depression. You may be
mhm.
dealing with anxiety, and that's keeping you from the things you used to do. Don't be mad at yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Just work what you can work, and try to improve every day. That's it.
Do you
Try
know
to,
what?
try to
I'm
improve.
I'm going to take that a step further though, and I'm using myself as the example, and this is what I always do. I will put my stuff out there for the world because I ain't trying to put nobody else's out there. You've got to be bold enough to ask for help.
Uh-huh.
That is by far the hardest thing for
Especially when
me.
it comes to anxiety and depression, because we'll do it for leg ache, pain, but hurt, pain,
I
anxiety,
wouldn't. I
depression.
wouldn't even do it for that though. Like I know, I know that I know that I know. I've got things that I've got to handle. I within a 20-minute radius of my house, I have an aunt, a sister, two nieces, a daughter, a bonus daughter, and my daughter's roommate. Those are all the people around me when my husband is not at home. I could call any one of them and ask them to come over and help me with something at the house or take me to the store or whatever, come help me cook dinner because I'm having a flare up. Do you know how many times I've picked up the phone and done that?
You got to let them in. You got to let them in. I know it's the private moments, and it's like you said, you can air it out on here, but having those closest to you see the intimate side of how it's working and how it's battling or how it's affecting you, it's difficult. It's challenging. Like I told you, if I had bed stories, I don't have some other stuff too, and I literally had to ask, can you come get me? Can you come literally pick me up and take me XYZ or do roll? Like I had to because I literally couldn't do it myself. And you have to start, being one to let people in, not just for everybody that loves you and cares for you on the podcast, but on your loved ones that are closest to you.
Oh yeah.
You got to, because you need somebody, and you don't want to wear out your immediate caregiver because they can get just as sick. There's like new things that have come up, sicknesses related to caregivers, and so we have to be cognizant of not putting it all on that one, that like that spouse or that kid that's there, because they get worn out too. They want some help too. And so the more we allow people in to help, the better that everybody is. Because I have a caregiver. I have no shame. I have a caregiver. I can't drive. I have seizures. I can't drive. I'm not allowed to drive. And so if I have to go to the doctor, well, I'm gonna call Uber. No. So we have to hire a caregiver, and that caregiver literally helps me from A to Z, from A to Z. I'm not going to be ashamed of it. Yes, I don't look like a senior citizen. I'm not 90 something. I'm not, I don't have the face or look of somebody that literally sometimes is at death's door, but it's reality. I do.
Yep.
I have been at death's door, and literally if it had been a moment longer and I didn't go to the hospital, that's my thing. I don't be want to go to the hospital. I'm gonna be honest here. That's my thing. I don't want to go to the hospital. I don't want to go to the ambulance. None of that. I go to the doctor, but I'm I'm telling on me.
No, because you and I just literally talked about that the other day. Because I ended up having to go to the ER.
Wow.
I ended up with a bacterial infection in a lymph node, which could come from a million and one places.
Mm-hmm.
And it started out like it was the size of a quarter, no big deal. Figured I pulled the muscle. It was all good. Within 24 hours, it was the size of a egg. And so I called, the little nurse advice line. I'm like, hey, just tell me this could wait till tomorrow morning and I'll call my doctor. They're like, no, this could be going into your windpipe. This could be an infection that's in your bloodstream. Get your butt to an ER. And I'm sitting here thinking, my husband has been at work all day.
Yep.
He went to work literally on 2 hours of sleep.
Yep.
And now he's got to come home and I've got to ask him to go to an ER for 6 hours
Yep.
so that he can turn around and go to work tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to tell you the guilt that I felt
Yeah.
having to do that, like telling him I've got to go to the ER. I was in tears. I cried. I cried in the ER. And my husband is saying, this is your health. It is a priority. We will make arrangements. We will make this work. I don't care. Let's go. But just having to admit that, there's that fear of you don't know where that line is. Because people who don't deal with any type of illness like, these things that would normally send someone to an ER, and I'm going to use, Joe Blow down the street. Joe Blow down the street gets a lump on his neck, pulled muscle, he's just going to stay home. But I get that same thing, and I've got to worry. Is this an infection that's going to hit my heart? Is it going to go into my neck? Is it going to go into my windpipe? Am I going to be able to breathe in the morning? And it's a whole different set of circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's that guilt that we have to get over. But I think the key part, and I think this is probably the most important part, is learning to celebrate the wins.
Yep.
And it could be, for me, this is a small little minor win. But in 1 week, I got 3 medical tests done, and I still got a podcast episode out. That for me is a huge win.
Yeah.
For someone else, that may have been like, that's a day in my life. It took me a week to do it, but it happened.
Yeah.
So you better believe the rest of tonight, when we're done, I will be sitting here with my music playing, watching some Greatest Showman and jamming out to their little soundtrack and having a great old night.
Yeah.
That for me is a win now.
Absolutely. We have chronic illnesses. Other people may have kids. Other ladies may be having kids, and they don't let up. Their day doesn't end until the kids' breast. But hey, you got the kids down early. You lunches are already done, and you literally get 2-3 hours where you only get 30 minutes. That is a win. You have to celebrate it all. Let's say you're a lady that's working and in school. Okay, you got that 9 to 5, and then you got to go drive to school in person after work for 3-4 hours, and then come and deal with whatever's at home. Guess what? That teacher let y'all go early or say y'all can have class. All you gotta do is turn in your paper online, and you got it done early. Hey,
take that win, enjoy a glass of wine with it.
Yep.
And yeah,
you have to celebrate whether it's big or small. A win is a win. A success is a success. An opportunity is an opportunity. And when it gets down to our purpose in life, that's how we have to look at it. We have to look at it not as we're failing at our purpose because of everything in life that's happening to us, but we're adjusting to be able to still pursue our purpose in spite of what's happening to us. Did y'all catch that? Not because of what's happening to us, but in spite of it, you're still pursuing it. You have to be the one that still pursues, even if it takes you a week, you're still pursuing. And that's where you literally change the narrative. And that's where the wins come in, the ultimate win. I'm still pursuing purpose. I'm still following my assignment. I'm still on course. I'm still being able to relate to women of all ages and tell them no matter what they're going through that they're fabulous and they are awesome and they are and they're this and that and everything else, and you're able to do that, able to encourage yourself, able to get the groceries done, able to go to your doctor.
But not only are you able to encourage those women, but this is the beauty of it. And I am big on like trying to find that silver lining, the one good thing in the mess. we now have a unique opportunity to relate on a completely different level
Yep,
than Jane down the street can.
absolutely.
Because now I've walked a mile in those shoes as a recovered drug addict.
Hmm.
I've walked a mile in those shoes that 10 other coaches have not walked,
Yeah,
but I've been there.
yeah.
I know that.
And somebody listening needed to hear you say that just today. You may have said it on every other show, but today you saying that they needed to hear that. And they needed to see that now you're able to be a success in your own right and be able to tell them, hey, I've been there and but I'm not there anymore. And you may be where you're at, but you don't have to be there forever. And you're they're seeing you. They're seeing you and they're like, she is able to be in her place but still have had the past she's had and and in spite of it pursue purpose, and that's amazing. That's amazing. The shoes we wear, nobody else can understand until they stand in it.
Exactly.
They don't
Exactly.
even begin to get it, but when your shoes and their shoes, y'all like, oh, we got the same ones on. And we can relate to each other and we can begin to dialogue and have conversation. Then that's where even more relationship comes in. And that's like the icing on the cake.
I love that you mentioned that you said that. And I've never told you this, but I had somebody that I was introduced to. She is a drug recovery counselor. And there was a moment shortly after I got clean that it was a struggle bus day. I was hurting. I was trying to get a hold of somebody to get that fixed. And somebody put me on the phone with her, and she told me, take a picture of your feet. Right now, as they are, take a picture of your feet. If you go down this path, will your feet still be able to stand where they are tomorrow? Where will your feet be? So I'm going to challenge everybody. And I know there are people that think feet are totally ugly, and that's cool. I want to see a picture of everybody's feet. I want everybody who is listening to this, who is watching it, I'm going to put a post on the page this evening, and we are going to start a thread of our feet and
Okay.
where our feet are in that moment. I don't want a picture of your feet from yesterday. I want a picture of your feet right now. You can put lotion on them first if you need to. I'm looking for ashy feet. We ain't got to go there. I will be putting on some lotion because, yeah, they're looking bad. But I want to know where your feet are because your feet are helping guide you to your purpose.
Absolutely.
So, Tanya, I want to thank
A
you
lamp unto
so
your
much.
feet and a light unto your path.
Yeah. I want to thank you so much for being on here with me today, for persevering and coming on here. I know today was a struggle day for you. It was a struggle day for me, but this conversation needed to happen,
Absolutely.
and I am so glad that we both made it through it. I have one final question for you. I ask this question of every guest that comes on here.
Yes.
What is something you love about yourself?
I love my smile.
You know what? You have a beautiful smile. I love your smile. Like, I was just looking at your webpage a little bit before we started. I was like, Sophie. So I love your smile. You
Thank
you have
you.
an infectious smile, and I absolutely love
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
that. Of
Thank you for
course,
having me as well. I really have enjoyed our time, and I'm sure this will not be the last time for sure.
I 100% will not be the last time. You guys, thank you so much for being here with me today. I know this isn't like the normal time we do things, things are going to be changing. Schedules are going to be changing because my life has changed.
And
But we
that's a
are rolling with the punches and we are going where we are led. And that may look very different here soon. I will keep y'all in the loop though. Remember, go over to buymeacoffee.com/the Fat Girl Life. Even if you just follow me, it's free to follow. You're going to get some cool information. But if you become a member, you're helping me do what I love. You guys, I have a great evening planned for myself. Celebrate my wins. You celebrate yours. Show me those pictures of your feet. Stay happy. Stay well. Stay loved. Bye, guys.